Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about something really cool, something really special to me, something that I've been trying to find a way to put into words that only recently I found online. Someone put it very elegantly. And so I'm calling it the three pillars of living a truly carefree life. You know, what do we all really want in life? We all want to be up to a place in life where we have peace, to where we feel comfortable, to where we can be carefree. Now, I don't mean completely free from responsibilities like having a kids or jobs. I mean, it's like carefree in your mind, like having that kind of like bliss that we all want, right? So the first one is what is passionately known as FU money, right? We all have heard that term. Oh, this person has FU money. He's got, X amount of dollars. So you're to a place where you have enough money that you don't have to worry about basic things like, can you feed yourself? Can you feed your family? Can you put your kid through a decent school? Do you have shelter? If you have like some sort of like an automobile crash or a fire, like is it going to make you stress out? I mean, if you have enough money, a lot of these factors, at the end of the day, you'll be okay. It's like deep in the back recesses of your mind, you don't really truly worry about those things if you have a bunch of money. Like, I'm not to that place. I'm not speaking for myself. I'm saying this is what other people say and what we all know. I'm not saying that money directly buys happiness, but there is a certain number for everyone where we could say, oh, that person has FU money. He doesn't have to, he doesn't have to listen to this employer who's treating them poorly. I don't have to be in a relationship with a spouse who is the breadwinner, a spouse who I don't feel comfortable with, but I feel like I'm being financially abused, right? Like these are all very, very common things. I don't have to look for a sugar daddy, right? Or sugar mama, to get funds and be in a relationship that's basically transactional for finances, right? So that's the first pillar. We're pretty familiar with that one, right? Someone has FU money. Okay, so that's pillar one. Pillar two is, I'm calling it FU freedom. Okay. So this one is, so the money is the first one. FU freedom is where you say you like live out on a plot of land that's maybe you're off the grid, and maybe you don't have to worry so much about other people and like all these laws bearing down on you, because say maybe you live off the grid, you have a lot of space on the open, you have all of the privacy you want, you can hoot and holler and make a bunch of noise, and you're not going to have people angry at you, or city people coming to your door giving you fines for like noise ordinances, or there's all sorts of things to that nature, right? And I'm not saying you're using this to do like illegal things, but you know what I mean. Like, you have that pillar of freedom you just feel comfortable to be able to be whoever you want. You can be a little weird, you can be esoteric, you can be like a strange person, and you don't have to worry about what effects that may have. Say if you lived in like a city in an apartment and you have all these other people around you. Not to say that, the only way to attain this is by living out in the country, but I think that that's a pretty good example of what I'm trying to get at here. You have the freedom to basically do what you want without any real big stressors coming from that. So that would be the second pillar. Now, the third pillar is what's known as FU family. Okay, now the name's a little misleading. It's not saying family is a bad thing, like FU family. No, it's saying like the first one is I have FU money, right? I got all the money. The third one's I have FU family. Like, I have a great family or friendship circle, social circle. I have everything I need right underneath this roof that I live in, or at least in my social circle. I have all the connections that I need to make me feel like I have an enriched life. All the people, I have lots of people that I know personally who I respect, and they respect me, and I feel that. So I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm not seeking strangers' approval, or I'm not seeking the approval of a teacher or an employer or a partner that I'm like trying to attain, right? You have all of just the mental peace and clarity of knowing that you are enriched just the way you are. Maybe you have kids or whatever the family situation is, you have it all right there, and everything you need to nourish like an enriched mental well-being, you have that readily available to you, and it's rock solid, right? That would be the situation of having FU family, right? You have all the money you want, you have FU freedom, so you don't feel constrained by social norms or dumb laws, like, you know, you can you can ride your bike around wherever you are, you don't have to worry. And then you also have FU family, you just feel very rich, very rich. These three things are kind of like the three different layers of something that we all want, right? Like we all want to have the peace of mind that these things, like, now we don't need $3 billion to get FU money. That number is going to be a little bit different depending on where you live, depending on what you feel comfortable with. But honestly, that number isn't that high, you know. Maybe not as high as like a lot of people would like to make you believe it anyways. I mean, and if you think about like, so the money thing, for example, like there are plenty of like scientific studies that show very interestingly that, you know, and sadly, that people who suffer in poverty, who have really bad issues with money, like say they know that they're at risk of losing where they live, or they're at risk of like losing their partner because they lost their job, and now they're not only do they not have the money, but they're losing that like part of their heart, like their relationship. Lots of studies show not dramatic, but a noticeable increase or decrease in IQ points, depending on a person's financial situation. And this is due to stress. The stress it causes for a person to be in poverty and constantly be in a you know, like a defensive, like do or die scenario is very stressful for the human psyche, right? And this stress, I mean, stress is known as the silent killer, all kinds of stress. This stress wears on your mind, you know, maybe you're getting less sleep, you're not having time to work out or whatever, maybe you don't have the money to eat like properly, or you know, but anyways, people who are in these very, very stressful, like poverty situations, have a, you know, decreased fluctuation of IQ points, unfortunately. But you'll see it when people, maybe they get the job that they needed or win the lottery or something, and they feel, it's just a mental thing. They feel secure with the money they have. All of a sudden, a lot of stress relieves off the back of their psyche, and it frees up room in the mind for them to think more critically, and IQ points actually go up, okay? Like people actually test better. So that's one example of why money can kind of buy happiness to some degree. I mean, now it'll get you to a certain point, right? Like you understand what I'm saying. And yeah, I mean, the family thing, like, just to elaborate on the FU family thing. So if you have everything that you need to nourish yourself within your family and your immediate like social circle, then that's someone who has learned to, I mean, a lot of that's just mental, right? Someone may have that already set up for them, but they just haven't switched that stuff in their mind to be at the healthiest place that they can be with their family. So say you are someone who, this is something I've struggled with. Say you're someone who worries a lot what other people think. Like you're putting too much value on your self-worth that's dependent on this imaginary views of strangers or other people in the community that you're not even close to. Or maybe say, like, think back to high school when you really, you know, you were really self-conscious and you worried about whatever, you felt like everybody was looking at you. In reality, you know, these people aren't really, that's not the way it really works, okay? And a lot of times when you're very self-conscious and worrisome about what other people think of you. If you're worried about like, oh, my neighbor Susan, she's really critical of me. I can tell she doesn't like me. And that's literally you letting strangers or people that don't necessarily even care about you dictate how you feel based on kind of a fantasy that you're making up in your head most of the time. It's actually a pretty crazy delusion and really unhealthy thing to have, right? Now, of course, there's the other end of the spectrum where you completely narcissistic and you don't care at all ever about what anybody thinks ever. That's a different conversation. But I think that at the end of the day, most of us could benefit from having some FU family, being able to enrich yourself from not worrying about having that high school mentality of like, oh, what does this person think? What is this? Or think about like comments on social media, right? You don't want to let some stranger commenting on YouTube or on your social media that you don't even know, it's just a faceless name behind a username, dictate your emotions, right? Now you may want to be able to take this information and like, think about it critically, but not let it impact your well-being. So I think that I've explained that pretty well. And I really valued these 3 pillars because if you kind of go about your day, when you're making decisions in your life, whether they're big or small, if you kind of project these 3 pillars first behind that decision, like, is this decision gonna help me get to these 3 pillars, or is this way of thinking am I having today, is it toxic to myself? Would I be better off like not thinking this way? I think this is a very good light to cast on our daily life, and it's hard to keep remembering like very important facets of life like this, right? Because we get lost in the mundane everydayties of driving to work. You got to take a shower. Oh, the baby's crying again. Like, woe is me. But a lot of these things are perspective, and now. Of course, the money thing isn't necessarily perspective. You do have to somehow attain the amount of money that will make you feel financially free. But a lot of that is perspective too, because I bet a lot of you out there are thinking that I can't be, sorry, my phone's ringing. A lot of you out there are thinking that I can't be happy until I have this amount of money. But I'm willing to bet that number in reality for you to be actually happy is way lower than what you're assuming it is. So anyways, food for thought. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe, and I would be more than happy to make more videos like this. And I hope to get your opinions in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. All right, good night.